This is what I wake up to every single morning. Nothing but construction and just loud noises. I think they're fixing a condo building or something next to me, but every single morning this is exactly what I wake up to. But it's a nice view that I wake up to, so not complaining at all. Feel good. I guess it's good for me to wake up early, right? It's not that early, it's 8 a.m. I've been sleeping in a lot lately, so yeah. But yeah, you will definitely expect to hear a lot of noise like this in Sao Paulo. Very loud city, especially here in Republic with the building directly next to me. Alright everyone, so today we will be going to a Jamaican restaurant here inside of Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. And this restaurant is called Jerky's. So we're gonna be going over there. It's inside of Republica. It's like a 5-minute walk from where I am right now. So I'll see you there.
Marcel on the track.
So let's get into today's topic. We gotta talk about why Sao Paulo is so underrated compared to Rio. So if you ask anybody, the first thing they say whenever you talk about Brazil, it's always Rio de Janeiro. If you look at any video on YouTube, it always goes straight to Rio. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to choose Sao Paulo instead of Rio. And actually, just for your information, you definitely want to learn some Portuguese if you come here. As you can see, I have some Portuguese books here. So yeah, I have multiple books for Portuguese, and you definitely want to check out these 3 books. They're all very good books, and definitely get your little notebook for reference. But let's talk about this, because this is a big topic of discussion. Here's Sao Paulo. Before we get into the topic, as you can see, very nice place. This is Republica. So in Republica, this is the historic district, and you can see in the distance the mountains all the way down there. But yeah, Sao Paulo, it's about, I want to say 587 square miles. If you want to look that up and do your fact check, it's somewhere around there. I already looked it up. But yeah, it's about 587 square miles of a city. It's the 4th largest city in the world by population. So that's another impressive fact about Sao Paulo. But let's kind of talk about a little bit more stuff with Sao Paulo. For one, everyone's always going to talk about Rio, but the beach here, or not even here, but the beach is about an hour and a half away from Sao Paulo. And it's not Rio, but it is the beach, by Sao Paulo Island, and all that good stuff. But there's a lot of different beaches, like an hour and a half away from here. So that's all good. It's not as good as Rio, but it's still a beach, right? If you just want a beach that's close by. And then you also have Rio, that's like 4 or 5 hours away. I would say 5 hours by driving, which is not bad itself either. So on top of that, it's not that far to go to Rio from here. And you have all this different culture inside Sao Paulo as well. Because you gotta remember, this is the 4th largest city by population in the whole metro area and everything. I think it's like 23 million or something like that. But you have a lot of people here. And just here in Republica, there's a lot of different culture. Like right downstairs from my condo or apartment, whatever you want to call it, Airbnb, we have an Italian restaurant, and then we have a French restaurant across the street. So you have this whole melting pot of cultures like all over the place. And then down the street, I'll show you that video in a second here. But yeah, down the street you can see I went to a Jamaican restaurant. Big shout out to the owner there, he's pretty cool. And the Jamaican restaurant is called Jerky's, and it's actually pretty good. It's one of the only Jamaican restaurants here inside of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and he actually comes directly from Kingston, Jamaica, so that's pretty cool as well. And there's just so many different cultures here inside of Sao Paulo. So you have that, you have the Italians are all over the place. They own a lot of the buildings around here, and this is the historic district, like I said. So you're gonna see some of the buildings may look old and ran down, but it's the historic district. That's what Republic is. And then you have Paulista, which is like the high class neighborhood. It's got all these big buildings, you know, the malls and stuff like that, condo buildings, brand new buildings. So you have a lot of money flowing through Paulista. But on top of that, this is one of the biggest economies in the world. And when you look at it from the GDP standpoint, the GDP, it's actually a very, very big economy. And on top of all that, it's the biggest economy inside of South America and inside the Southern Hemisphere as well. So we have so much going on here inside of Sao Paulo. Like everywhere you go, there's something to do. Places are open late. Some places, you know, will close early, but all the bars and clubs and stuff like that, they're open really late. Some of them will stay open till like 6 a.m. Some of them 4 a.m. And there's always a party going on every single night. I always hear people downstairs partying at the bar. And also on top of that, if you want to think about Rio, a lot of places in Rio aren't like Sao Paulo when it comes to like when it comes to the clubs and the bars. There's not as many clubs and bars out there inside of Rio. So a lot of people will tell you that the nightlife here inside Sao Paulo is way better than Rio, which is actually a fact, because there's just way more clubs, there's way more bars, just a lot of stuff for the nightlife. Like there's hundreds and hundreds of clubs and bars around here. Like you will never not have anything to do. For instance, Villa Margarena, that is a place that a lot of people like to go to party, you know, like the younger crowd, younger generation. And then they have places for everybody over here, and just everywhere you go, there's always going to be something to do inside Sao Paulo. And if you hear like construction and everything, that's because they are building all over the place. And yeah, it's a heavy construction area right now inside of Republica. Because like I said, this is the historic district, and they're kind of refurbishing a lot of the buildings. So you're gonna see a lot of construction going on all around Republica, and like places like Paulista, they already got that developed nicely. So they're just redeveloping here inside of Republica. So you're gonna see a lot of construction, a lot of new buildings. The building I'm in is fairly new, and it's a really nice place, honestly. And also another thing, when you want to compare Sao Paulo to Rio, Rio is a lot more expensive. So, you know, you would think that the Sao Paulo, the biggest, you know, economy out here, is a lot more expensive than Rio, but it's really not. Like Rio is way more expensive. This place that I'm renting is about $630 a month from Airbnb. If I did this directly from the apartment builders, it would probably be more so like $300 to $400 a month, something like that. So it would be fairly cheap. But I'm renting on Airbnb, and you know they gotta upcharge you. So I am renting it for like $630 a month, which is really not that bad at all. And I'm gonna be here for 3 months, so I'm really living very cheaply. Like if this was in America, it would be at least $2,000 a month. Let's say if it was in like Miami or New York. This apartment would be about $4,000 to $5,000 a month. And yeah, Miami would probably be $2,000 to $3,000 a month. But here inside Sao Paulo, the studio apartment is $640 a month. So that's pretty good and pretty high up in the air. It's the 15th floor over here in Republica, so it's a pretty decent area. And like I said, you know, you can see all around. You can look down there, you can see all the way down there. There's a lot of stuff going on here in Republica right now. But yeah, I'm just chilling over here. There's a little bit of a park across the street, if you can see that. It's pretty nice. But yeah, like I was saying, it's pretty expensive compared to I mean, Rio is pretty expensive compared to Sao Paulo. So I was looking at the places in Rio, and one of the cheapest places out in Rio was like $1,200, $1,000 a month. And that's crazy because it wasn't even on the beach. It was like way farther away from the beach. If you want to be on the beach in Rio, you're going to be paying anywhere from $15,000 to $2,000 a month, even up to $3,000 to $4,000 a month just to rent on the beach in Rio. And things are getting more expensive inside of Rio. Now there are places you can find, like you can find hostels in Rio for cheaper. You can find shared rooms. If you go on Airbnb, people are renting out rooms for like $800 to $1,000 a month for one room, and you're inside of a house with other people, so, or an apartment with other people. So it's a lot more expensive inside of Rio. The cheapest place I was able to find, like I said, was like $1,000 to $1,100, something like that. it was some crazy price. And if you look inside of here, like, I have a very good view of everything. So you can see this is the place here, and I got a lot of different storage space here, and I got my little work area here for my videos. And this is like, I don't know what you want to call this, but this is like a second bed, if you want to call it that. Got all my shoes and stuff here. It's got a TV, it's got internet. The internet is so fast here. It's like 300 something megabytes per second, so that's very good as well. And then you got some more storage here. I got my bags and stuff. You got the bed. Did not make the bed. You got this big mirror right here, so that's pretty cool right there. And then you got the bathroom, and the bathroom is pretty cool as well. So it's actually a pretty good bathroom, pretty good shower. And yeah, everything inside here is fairly good. You got the fan here, so yeah, it's fairly good. And it's definitely a modern apartment. It's very new, so $630 a month for a fairly new apartment building or condo building, if you want to say that. And then you got more storage space here. And yeah, I'm gonna be here for 3 months, so I brought a lot of stuff. And you got all that stuff up there, all that storage space. More storage space here. So you have all of these accommodations. You have a gym here. There's a pool on the same floor that I'm on right now, the 15th floor. There's a pool, and that pool, I have not been to it yet, but I'll definitely have to check that out. But yeah, there's a gym, there's a pool, they have trash pickup, all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty good apartment, I would say, for $630 a month. And then, like I said, it would be cheaper if I actually rented it myself, you know, directly from there instead of doing Airbnb. But as of right now, I think it's about, I think the weather, it's like 70, maybe it's like 68 or 67 degrees. So it is colder here inside of Sao Paulo. The coldest I felt it here was about 53. But yeah, it's colder in Sao Paulo than in Rio. We already had our little not raining season, but you know, we had some rainy days last week, so I wasn't able to do much filming last week. But it hasn't been raining recently, so all that's good. I think the rain, it actually went up to Rio, so they're probably getting rain. But yeah, I think Sao Paulo and Rio, like when you compare them both, when you go around the city in Sao Paulo, there's a lot more to do inside of Sao Paulo than Rio. Like Rio, okay, you can go to Copacabana Beach, you can go to Ipanema, you can go to Leblon, and if you want to go up to the favelas, you can go up there. I wouldn't recommend it. And then there's, you know, there's the city. But inside of Rio also, you're gonna get overpriced for foods, drinks. All the restaurants are gonna get overpriced for all that stuff. When I'm eating out here, some places I can spend $5 for a meal, $6 for a meal. It just depends really what I want to eat. And for both of them, I would say Uber is probably the same. But yeah, you're gonna pay way more for food and for drinks over there inside of Rio. So yeah, over here you can get a lot of stuff for cheap. So that's another good thing. And then safety. A lot of people say, like a lot of like locals from Brazil, not just me, say that Rio is more dangerous than Sao Paulo. And I could see that because you have the favelas that are literally right there. They're literally like right above, you know, the whole city. And then when some of those people will come down, you know, if they have like gangs and stuff, they literally go to the beaches, they find foreigners to rob, stuff like that. And it can happen here inside Sao Paulo. I'm not saying it can't, but I have walked around at 2 a.m., which you should never do, and they recommend you to never do that, so don't do that. But I've done it, and I've been relatively safe. I've talked to people like locals here, and they say the main thing that you're gonna get here is going to be robberies, and that would be like pickpocketing, some people taking phones, you know, phone snatching. Those are very common here. But what they said isn't common, like violent crime is not common inside of Sao Paulo. Helicopters are common. Yeah. So this is actually one of the most busiest airspaces in the world for helicopters. If you look that up, it's actually a fact. So you're gonna see a lot of helicopters. I think there's another one coming by. But yeah, there's a lot of helicopters around here, so you'll always see helicopters. And the helicopter tours, they're not that expensive, I don't think so. I'll probably take a helicopter tour, but the most dangerous form of travel, I believe, is helicopter. So, or no, it's cars. but like the most dangerous air travel is helicopters. So I don't know about going into a helicopter. But yeah, like I was saying with the crime inside of Rio, they say is way more than Sao Paulo, and I could definitely see why. There's a lot of police patrolling the streets here inside of Sao Paulo. If you watched my previous video, I was walking down the street, and out of nowhere, like, this dude runs full speed past me with some lady's purse inside his hand, and then a cop, she starts running, you know, after him as well. The second it happened, and within about 5 minutes, they caught him, and they chased him down. They had several cars chasing him down. And you know, I thought about putting my foot out, you know, maybe tripping him, maybe helping him out so the lady can get her purse back. But it's different out here. Like if you like try to prevent a crime from happening, you know, you might be the victim of another crime. You know, that's why you never want to really get involved in that type of stuff. But yeah, the crime is like way less out here, I would say, inside of Sao Paulo. So there's a lot of differences between Sao Paulo and Rio. There's also more people here in Sao Paulo, so you could probably have more luck. Maybe, let's say, if you want to do if you just want to meet new people, I guess. But I would say one thing that Rio has against Sao Paulo is more hustle and bustle. People are trying to, you know, go out and make a bunch of money, and it's the financial center, the financial hub of South America in general. So that's why a lot of people come here, a lot of foreigners as well. And one thing that you really want to think about is, like, if you really want to come out and meet people, it'll be a little bit harder in Sao Paulo. In Rio, people are more chilled, kicked back, laid back. They're just focused on enjoying life and making the most of it. And inside of Sao Paulo, it's more focused on making money, which is also a good thing for me, because I actually work harder out here because everything's so hustle and bustle. Like, everyone's really focused on making money out here. So that's a good thing if you're really business oriented. And like I said, I went to the restaurant Jerky's. It's called Jerky's. It's inside of Republica in Sao Paulo, and that's the neighborhood, not the city. There's a city called Republica, but the neighborhood Republica, they got this restaurant called Jerky's. It's a Jamaican restaurant, and the guy that owns it, he's an entrepreneur. He came here, and he got his residency and all that good stuff, and now he has his own business here. So it's pretty good, you know. It's a pretty good lifestyle out here inside Sao Paulo. I would say Rio is pretty cool too, so no knock on anyone in Rio. I'm definitely going to visit Rio and make some videos out there and see, you know, just do some more comparisons. But from everything that I'm seeing so far, I really like Sao Paulo. I think Rio is definitely nice as well, though, because I was born in Baltimore but raised in Florida pretty much. And inside of Florida, you know, I'm already used to the beach life, the beach culture, and all that. So I really wanted to come and live in the big city and see exactly how Sao Paulo is. But moving back on to Rio and Brazil in general. Also, Brazil is an emerging economy. If you think about it, look up BRICS, BRICS. That stands for Brazil, Russia, what's the I? India, and then the C is China, and then the S is South Africa. So yeah, it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And what BRICS is, it's a formation between those 5 economies, and between all those 5 economies, they control 40% of they have like 40% of the world's population, they say, and then it's like 40% of the GDP flowing through them. And the formation of BRICS, they're really forming an alliance right now, and you'll see a lot of Russians coming over here to Brazil. There's a lot here in Sao Paulo as well, and you'll see a lot of people from the other areas as well. And they're really helping build up Brazil, and they're really helping each other. So these economies are really trying to trade between each other while excluding the West, and more importantly, excluding America. They're trying to form their own, you know, organization so they can be the dominant force in the world. So just look up BRICS. I'm gonna do a whole video on BRICS and why you probably should invest inside of Sao Paulo. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, not a financial advice, gotta say that. But Brazil in general is a good place to invest in, especially because of the BRICS formation. And the major factor inside of BRICS is China. And we already see what Russia is doing, and they're dominating. but you know, they're getting ostracized from the rest of the world. But that's why they have BRICS. And China is such a, you know, is such a force in the world that, like, China is huge. It's one of the biggest economies out there. And another thing about China, you actually have to think about what China is doing. Like, China is trying to take over the petrodollar. They no longer wanted the petrodollar. They wanted the Chinese yuan, or yuan, or whatever you want to call it, to be connected to oil. So they want to have the Chinese yuan, you know, or yuan, or whatever it is, connected to oil. So that's actually pretty significant, because Brazil is a part of this formation of BRICS. So for Brazil to be tied to possibly the next superpower of the world, that kind of puts Brazil in a position of power. So you want to do your research on BRICS. You want to do all your research on that and the political movement here inside of Brazil in general. And I think a lot of good stuff is about to happen. And then, you know, with Lula, you know, Lula becoming president, if we get Lula inside, then, you know, the Amazon rainforest is not going to be completely destroyed and deforestation, or whatever you want to say, is not going to happen if Lula becomes president. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on here, and the economy is definitely going to start booming once this stuff kind of settles, especially with BRICS. And like I said, I'm going to make a whole video on BRICS. But yeah, Sao Paulo being the financial hub of South America and Brazil in general, that's going to be really big, because once BRICS starts really taking off, Sao Paulo is going to be one of those cities that really benefits the most, because it's the financial hub. Yeah, Rio's cool. People go to Rio for like TV and stuff, and you know, take pictures at the beach, chill, kick back, all that good stuff. Like, I would say the business is done inside of Sao Paulo though, so that's something that you definitely want to figure out. But yeah, anyways, this is pretty much all I got for you all today. I'm definitely going to make more videos like this, and let me know what you guys think about, you know, the videos just sitting here talking about the dynamics inside of Brazil and comparing different cities in Brazil. And I'll also do some vlogs where we go all around the city like I've done in a few other videos, and then we'll meet some of the people. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Definitely hit the like button and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section, and as always, I'll be back with another video.